Well, good evening and welcome to IPR's commencement ceremony for both our March and June 2020 grads. I'm Stacy Severson, Campus Director at IPR, but I also have the pleasure of serving as your Master of Ceremonies today. I always like to start by just offering a sincere congratulations to all of our graduates. I know that I speak on behalf of all of the IPR staff and faculty when I say that we are incredibly proud of all of you. I am so sorry that we cannot all be in person together today. I know that this is not the way you expected to end your college experience and certainly not the way that we all wanted to celebrate your achievement. However, Diana and Kyle from Career Services and just really the support of the campus staff and faculty, everyone's been working very hard to make sure that this is a personal and memorable event for all of you. You know, there are lots of parts of being the campus director at IPR that I love, and I certainly love working with all of you, but graduation is definitely one of the best parts of my job. We all get to come together and really just reflect on what you've accomplished and what you've overcome to earn this new title of college graduate. I remember meeting many of you when you came to tour the campus. I got to see you come in for new student orientation, maybe a little nervous, a little excited, kind of trying to navigate those first weeks of school, trying to get your access cards to work, figure out where the heck Studio 4 is, and those weird bathrooms on the first floor downtown where they're like kind of hidden back in the corner, or just that weird hallway in Edina where you walk through and you either go into the back of the classroom or kind of enter into the lobby, and just, you know, kind of being part of all of those new experiences with you. I have also seen you sleep deprived, a little stressed maybe during finals, drinking more coffee and energy drinks than is healthy. I've seen some of you in the same clothes multiple days because you were so focused on a project that you didn't even go home until you finished. I've seen you pick up jobs to pay for rent and school, sometimes struggle to find the balance in work and school and trying to figure out how to even have a life outside of school. But I have also seen you truly shine in the studio on your film sets, during a presentation, a special project for class, or live performance. And part of what makes IPR this really inspiring place to work is the talented students that we have. And it is such a pleasure to work with all of you. I can say that you motivate me and get me excited to come to work every day. And I know that's true for our staff and faculty as well. I love seeing your projects. I love hearing your work. I love coming to your big shows, or even just having you stop by the front desk or the office to say hello and share some exciting news. So I want to thank you for choosing IPR and for giving me the opportunity to work with each of you. You know, students and staff and faculty, all of you really contribute to our campus community at IPR. And I can genuinely say that I miss all of you right now, and I'm going to continue to miss seeing you on campus, having you hang out by the front desk. And I want to make sure that you all keep in close contact, you know, certainly with Diana and Kyle to help with your job search, but also with your peers, with your faculty, with the staff, because we all are here to continue to support you and to help you continue to celebrate your success as you leave IPR. Next, I would like to welcome our esteemed faculty speaker, Mr. Kevin Bowe. So I had asked Kevin, you know, is there anything you want me to change up in your bio because, you know, you've done some new work, there's some great stuff that you've done. And he said, no, just say this old guy is going to speak now. That's not something I can do. So Kevin, I'm going to give you a proper introduction. So Kevin Bowe is a songwriter, producer, guitarist, engineer, mixer who got his start in the Minneapolis music scene in the early 1980s. He scored his first publishing deal in the 90s, spending most of the decade writing songs, expanded into engineering, producing, and mixing in the 2000s, producing Midwest artists Communist Daughters and The Replacements, while also doing a lot of music for film and TV, including The Sopranos, ESPN, Shameless, and most recently, the new theme song for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Kevin has written songs on 3 platinum records, 2 Grammy-winning albums, and worked with artists like Johnny Lang, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Etta James, Paul Westerberg, The Replacements, Joe Cocker, Leonard Skinner, and so many more. He has also been playing with his band, and I believe released a new album earlier this year, Every Part of the Buffalo. I do have an autographed copy. Between his Nashville publishing deal and recording in his home studio, The Kill Room, Kevin is probably one of the busiest producers in the Midwest. He also recently collaborated with Jesse Key and some other local artists on a really lovely and moving song, We're Still Here, that was inspired by the events following the death of George Floyd and really just celebrating the strength and persistence of the community. Unfortunately, Kevin's industry work has pulled him away from teaching at IPR this last quarter, but we may just be able to rope him back into the classroom in the future. But for now, we'll settle for having him share his many words of wisdom with our IPR graduates.
First, I want to state the obvious. Congratulations on a job well done in the midst of a worldwide pandemic, the likes of which we haven't seen since 1918. No, I wasn't there. You have done the near impossible, graduated from college. Second, I want to state the second most obvious thing. You guys have gotten a really raw deal. My generation has left you holding the bag for problems that we failed to deal with, and it is not fair. Not fair at all. You didn't create these issues, the people who came before you did, and now it's up to you to solve them. I could say the same thing for my generation and make excuses for us, but that's just not accurate. I was born in the 60s when young people, maybe for the first time ever, believed that they could change the world for the better. There was no real youth culture before the 60s. In a way, young people were kind of more like younger versions of old people. But in the 60s, young people banded together and created their own culture, musically with the birth of rock and roll, and socially with the civil rights movement, the women's movement, gay liberation, and other changes. But in the end, they failed. I was just a little kid watching this, but I remember the murder of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King very well, and it had a huge effect on me. I was too young to be a hippie, though. I was a member of the lost generation, the people too young to be hippies but too old to be Gen Xers. I came of age in the 70s, so my culture of formation was Led Zeppelin and drugs. Not in the political sense, but in the selfish personal sense. My friends and I didn't get high as a political statement. We weren't going to be drafted and sent to Vietnam. We kind of only cared about ourselves and had a somewhat cynical view of politics. Woodstock was ancient history to me. The thing that formed my political consciousness was Watergate, which kind of left me with a feeling that they were all criminals and that was never going to change, so whatever, dude. Let's just get high and play guitar really loud. No protests, no sense of any unifying movement, just every person for themselves, and that in large part has led us to where we are now. My parents were very liberal, very active in the civil rights movement, but I was raised in a very white bread suburb. The only black people I knew were the Jeffersons on TV. The only gay person I knew was Freddie Mercury, and I was so stupid I didn't even know he was gay. I just thought he was one of those colorful British rock stars. I'm one of millions of white people who told themselves, I'm not a racist. I love Jimi Hendrix. No. Racism takes many different forms, and ignorance of how other people live fertilizes it. And oh man, I was ignorant. Being high all the time did not help. I ended up getting sober when I was 18, and they yanked me from my little white terrarium and dumped me in a broken down old house in downtown Minneapolis. My roommates? What? Were a black kid, a gay kid, and a Native American kid named Bob. I was terrified, but within a week those people were my new best friends, and I never looked back. I was also lucky to get exposed to punk rock while there, and that changed my life as well. At that point in time, punk wasn't just a fashion statement, it was more like an umbrella movement for all the misfits that corporate rock had left behind. And it was great. Music had a huge part in changing and opening up my own cultural views, opening me up to the exciting contributions from gay culture like disco and all the dance music that evolved from it, and the absolutely essential music that came from black culture. Every single piece of music I do would not exist if it weren't for James Brown. None of it. But still, that's not even close to enough. Just because you love James Brown doesn't mean you don't have racism lurking in your heart like a dormant virus, just waiting to emerge, subtly coloring your outlook on the world. I remember when I was in rehab, I had one day about 2 weeks in when I had the horrible realization, oh my God, I'm wrong about everything. Everything. I'll never forget it. I thought I was an outlaw, but it turned out I was just a lying little skeevy drug addict who stole from people he loved, lied, and never thought about anyone but himself. It was not a good feeling, but once I felt it, I knew I could never go back. That's the moment that white people need to have now. That moment when you go, oh my God, I don't know anything, and everything I thought I knew is wrong. That moment of absolutely bare honesty, where you let go and let yourself be taken to a higher, better place by listening to the people who have had different lives than you and hearing what they have to say about what their life has been like. Because if that hasn't been your life, then you don't know. You don't know anything. I think this moment is so much easier for young people than it is for old people because you're just not as entrenched in the old ways, and you probably have a natural tendency to think old people are stupid, and you should, because we are. We have failed you, and now it's up to you to fix it. It's not fair, but it is true. My people, the Jewish people, have a habit of splitting things up into the old on one hand, on the other hand thing. If you've ever seen Fiddler on the Roof, which is kind of our Straight Outta Compton, then you know what I'm talking about. So I want to split this up for you into a good news, bad news analysis. My people love to overanalyze things. It's very annoying, but there it is. Bad news. Our world is broken. Good news. It's been broken for a long time, but this is the first time when millions of us are admitting it, and obviously nothing broken can be fixed unless you admit it's broken. Bad news. Only you can fix it. Good news. You can fix it. Bad news. It won't be easy. Good news. You can do it. This is a good time, maybe the best time ever to be a young person, especially a young person involved in the arts. Art has always had a huge hand in making things like this better on a personal and societal level. A gay person once told me that the reason we have gay marriage now has more to do with the TV show Will and Grace than any political workings. That person was my son. You can and will make art that will be an essential part of changing the world. You know how to do it now, and this is the time. There's no such thing as a challenge not accompanied by an opportunity. You have this opportunity right now in a way that no young people ever have, or at least not since the 60s. That is challenging, but it's also incredibly exciting. You can and will make art that is not only good, but art that's important. I might say crucial. I bet there's no one in this room who wants to continue in this world the way it is right now. No one is more motivated and capable of changing things than you. And I believe that you will. What an amazing and unique opportunity. If you do it right, then what you guys do in the next period of time will be talked about for 100 years or more, trust me. There are people, old people, who want things to stay the same. The way they achieve this is to divide us. It's not complicated, it's simple math. If I have an enemy and I can get them to fight each other, then my work is done. It's very efficient, and time has shown us it's very effective. But the truth is, we have way more in common with each other than we have in conflict with each other. We agree on many more things than we disagree about. If you look at it statistically, there's nothing that can stop a huge group of people who want the same things and are willing to work and fight for them. That group is you. The word commencement means a new beginning or start. That's what this is. This is day one. This is the start of your fight to make the world the way you want it to be, not the way the people who came before you wanted it to be or let it become. No commencement address would be complete without some advice, though, and I will say, if you're not in the mood right now to take advice from old people, especially old white people, man, I get it. So, take it or leave it. Here are a few things I've learned the hard way. 1, the only person you can control is yourself. Change happens one person at a time, and it starts with you changing you. Any time spent trying to control or change someone else is lost and wasted time. If you disagree, think about how you feel when someone tries to control you. Like I am right now. 2, the only thing you can control on a project is your effort, not the outcome. If you get too attached to the outcome, you'll end up wasting so much energy you won't have enough left over to put into your effort. I've worked insanely hard on projects that went nowhere. I've also done kind of a half-assed job on projects that went platinum. Once the work is done, walk away and start the next thing. Just let it go. 3, always sit in the empty chair. It's more comfortable. Learn to do all the jobs, then you can focus on the one that no one else in the room knows how to do. 2 people sitting in the same chair is just awkward and uncomfortable anyway. 4, Never pass up a chance to talk to a stranger. It's usually more interesting and educational than talking to the people you already know well. 5. The only person worth competing with is yourself yesterday. If you can be better today than you were yesterday, then as time goes on, you'll end up being better than most of the other people anyway. 6. Distractions are the devil. Carve away every single thing in your life that doesn't help you get to the life you dream of. The world is full of people trying to sell you crap that won't help you get where you want to be. Don't buy it. Figure out what you want to do and spend as much time as humanly possible doing that thing. People ask me, how are you so disciplined about your work? But it's not discipline when you're doing exactly what you want to do. And finally, now more than ever, don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Once again, congratulations on this incredible accomplishment. You've succeeded against great odds at a time in our history people will be talking about the same way we talk about the 60s now. This is your time. You are literally inheriting the earth. I have no doubt you will do a better job than we did.
Thank you, Kevin. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to all the parents who are watching this stream, all the students and friends and grandparents and everybody who's here to try to share this crazy graduation ceremony with these guys. My name is Trey Woodley. I'm the Associate Campus Director at IPR, and I'm proud to officially confer these degrees upon our graduates. So, with an Associate of Applied Science in Audio Production and Engineering, Christopher Berg. Louise Dinzio.
Hey!
Dakota Orff. Cole Kristen. Pablo Garcia Pazano. Joseph Gedimer. Parker Rudy. And Robert White. With an associate degree of applied science in live sound and show production, Mackenzie Swanson, Feather Clark, Jae-Jun Huang, with an associate degree of applied science in media and entertainment business, Taylor Brennan, with an Associate of Applied Science in Sound Design for Visual Media, Evan Tungsvik, and Arthur Hay. With dual degrees in Associate of Applied Science in Audio Production and Engineering and Sound Design for Visual Media, Ashton Gruyer, cum laude, David Rayfield, Evan Sox, magna cum laude. Ryan Stanislaw. Sorry, Annie Clute. With dual degrees in audio production and engineering and live sound and show production, Evan Rodriguez Sosa. And with a Bachelor's of Arts in Digital Video and Media Production, Justin Bruhlman. Ryan Hoffa, magna cum laude. Eric Peterson. Eric Forsman, cum laude. And Nick Carneth, magna cum laude. So will those of you with the associate degree candidates please do the virtual equivalent of rising? Maybe give us the thumbs up. And the Institute of Production and Recording, with the full recommendation of its directors and faculty, and by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of Minnesota, confers upon you the degree of Associate in Applied Science with all its rights and privileges and obligations, given to you this 12th day of June in the year 2020. Please move your tassels from the right to left.
Woo!
You may be seated.
Yay!
Bachelor degree candidates. With the full recommendation of the directors and faculty of IPR, along with the successful completion of all criteria required, and by the virtue of the authority vested in us by the state of Minnesota, the Institute of Production and Recording confers upon you the degree of Bachelor's of Fine Arts, with all its rights, privileges, and obligations, given this 12th day of June in the year 2020. Please move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations. Thanks, Trey. Next, we have an opportunity to recognize our valedictorians. So the valedictorian award is presented to the member, in this case, the members of the graduating class with the highest GPA. So as we are recognizing graduates from both March and June, we'll celebrate 2 exceptional students. I will introduce the March valedictorian first and invite him to share some remarks with all of you, and then we'll follow with an introduction and hearing from our June valedictorian. So our March valedictorian is Ryan Hoffa. I had the pleasure of getting to know Ryan throughout his time at IPR and have always appreciated his warmth, his professionalism, and focus. In addition to his predictable wardrobe, Gail and I discussed this, always having the collared short sleeve shirt on, which obviously we can't see with the graduation gown today. Ryan is thoughtful, collaborative, and has a true passion for learning his craft. Ryan came to IPR from his home and current town of Chanhassen, Minnesota. If you have attended shows at Chanhassen Dinner Theater, you may recognize Ryan as a child actor turned technical staff. In fact, he still consults with the Chanhassen because he's literally the only one in the state that knows how their follow spot system works. Apparently, there's some highly specialized software and equipment involved in this process. So Ryan chose to attend IPR because he wanted to pursue a degree in the creative arts and has always loved movies and telling stories. He wanted to stay in Minnesota to be close to family. While attending IPR, Ryan worked at the Chanhassen and also started another full-time in-field position during his final quarter of school, because apparently he's crazy. He is employed by Monkey Wrench Productions, doing everything from repairing entertainment production equipment and completing installs to building websites and creating promotional videos. He is most proud of his final thesis project, a roughly 40-minute documentary-style growing up story about one of his close friends, and also proud of the collaboration that he did on a film written and directed by another IPR graduate, Penny Politich. In addition to serving as the film's director of photography, Ryan also did the edit and the color correction. He was actually able to travel with Penny to San Francisco to accept an award for their film, 20 Seconds. So I had chatted with Ryan and asked him a little bit about his memorable IPR moments, and there were certainly several, but one in particular stands out. He shared that in Gail's composition class, Gail assigned the students to do something that they had never done before and to write about it. So Ryan decided that he should take this opportunity to test drive a Tesla. Fortunately for Ryan, Gail had a connection. Her son worked for a dealership. So Ryan got to take advantage of this opportunity and said it was pretty awesome. He was able to return the favor by helping Gail and her mom get some tickets to Mamma Mia at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, which was also complete with a backstage tour. Faculty appreciate Ryan's work ethic, humor, and technical skill. One instructor, Portia Heller, noted his, quote, impish humor, compassion, creative brilliance, and loyalty. Please join me in welcoming Ryan Hoffa to speak.
Hi, everyone. I wish I could say some things that are hopeful for the future, considering just the way the state of the world is at this moment. But there, finding some words of encouragement has been hard. And there are other things that I would have liked to say, but I promised Stacy that it wouldn't be a 25-minute speech. But some of those topics would include the absurdity that the current administration has any support from his political party, how just because you don't care about wearing a mask, what you fail to understand is that it isn't about you, and how messed up the world is that people have to resort to violence to get their voices heard. My words of encouragement will be brief, and unlike any gen ed class at the downtown campus, will be tailored for the DV students. We have to use our knowledge of our craft for good and not evil. We need to make sure that what we are putting in our content isn't perpetuating stereotypes or portraying a culture as lesser than. When we go out into the industry, we need to help spread change. As we know, the lack of our industry wanting to change is how we still have avid media composer. But we need to try. I know each of you and your strengths, and I know that all of your strengths can be used for incredible things. We just need to get out there, show up on time, and use them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, next I would like to introduce our June valedictorian, Nick Kerneth. Nick is a true entrepreneur, self-motivated, focused, and talented. And while dedicated to his own success, Nick is also supportive of his peers, shows a great willingness to collaborate, and works with a high level of integrity. I have always appreciated his professionalism and his extreme focus. Nick is from Woodbury, Minnesota, but attended Stillwater High School. He chose IPR because he wanted a hands-on program, and also told me that word on the street was that the teachers are amazing. Now, Nick did confirm that his experience found this to be 100% true. While he might downplay his own success, Nick has been working professionally through his own production company the entire time that he has been a student at IPR. He has a really impressive collection of work and has already begun to establish himself as an industry professional. He balanced his business with working other jobs outside of this and while attending school full-time. His post-graduation goal is to secure a full-time job with benefits in a video-related field, but while still doing freelance work on the weekends. Nick is most proud of his yet-to-be-named paranormal TV pilot that he directed. He has shot 2 episodes and shared that he's been busy editing them for the last 2 years. Well, this has been one of his coolest experiences. Nick also appreciated the opportunity to collaborate with his peers, leveraging their individual skills and experience. In particular, he appreciates that, and this is a direct quote from Nick, Justin Bruhlman's forehead provides a great reflective spotlight for shooting moody scenes. Thank you, Justin. Faculty describe Nick as dependable and persistent. They are impressed by his technical and his creative skills, especially with drone operation, editing, and coloring. Portia Heller said that he, quote, gives every ounce of heart combined with gray matter to every project he tackles. Gail Milstein notes that he, quote, quietly and consistently understands what needs to be done in any situation and humbly and capably gets it done every time. Please join me in welcoming Nick.
Hello, thank you, Stacy, for all of that, and especially the part about Justin there at the end. And think you were going to say that, but it was definitely worth it. So I don't have anything formal to say. It's just mostly thank yous. I want to thank the parents who helped us get here. This isn't an easy school to attend, and I know we've all been grateful for the experience. When I chose to attend IPR years ago, it was because people said the teachers here were outstanding. And after 3 years, I found that to be 110% true. Every teacher has gone out of their way to provide resources for us. And not only that, but students have gotten to know all of us on a personal level. A large part of the environment at IPR starts with the teachers, and I can say that I've laughed more and learned more here than all the other schools I've attended combined. So from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of all the other students' hearts here, Thank you. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here, or we wouldn't be where we are today. And the last 3 years have been some of the best years of my life, and I look forward to seeing what the future holds for everyone.
Thank you, Nick. Next, I would like to share about our Icon Award presentations. So our Icon recipients are selected by the faculty and program leadership. Unlike the valedictorian, this award is not chosen on the basis of GPA, but instead for commitment, work ethic, and leadership, both in and out of the classroom. So we should note that awards are not necessarily given in every single program, as students need to prove exemplary in those above mentioned characteristics. So recipients are not disclosed to the graduates or the campus community prior to our graduation ceremony. At this time, I would like to welcome our lead instructors to present the Icon Awards for their respective programs. We will begin with Andrew Hunt, lead instructor for the Digital Video and Media Production program.
All right. So how's everyone doing? Thumbs up. Good. Good. Sweet. Excellent. Just a really couple quick shout outs. So far, best couch, Jejun. Best use of a wide angle lens, we're going to go with Mackenzie Swanson. Best beard, Eric Peterson by far. Best prop, Joseph, love the balloons. Best art direction, Hoffa, you know. And then Nick, best lighting. That's pretty impressive. You know, this is weird, guys, but you're making the best of it. So awesome. Okay, so let's jump into 2 Icon Awards that we are going to be handing out. So we're going to jump with March 1st. So this young gent, I probably beat up more than any other student that I've ever taught. I remember when we were prepping for one of our big shoots, and usually when we do that, I tend to hire a professional cinematographer because I want the students to work with a pro working as a cinematographer. But this one student kind of piped up and asked me if I had selected a cinematographer yet, and I said no. And he threw in his hat and said, well, I would like to shoot it for you. And as an instructor, it kind of got me a little concerned. And I told him that I needed a couple days to think it over. And then a couple days later, I came back to him, and because he kept pestering me. And I said, all right, Justin, yep, you're going to shoot it. But here's the deal. If you shoot this movie, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. And Justin smiled and said, I can't wait. And so we shot this film in December. 3 really tough days, pretty cold outside. Justin didn't complain once, and he pushed through every single challenge that I threw at him. And we had a kind of a saying that we said on set, which is zero compromise. We do not compromise. And I didn't feel that once with Justin. And then one of the best awards I have ever been involved in didn't come to me. It came to Justin when we took this short film and put it in this contest called Z-Fest, where there were all these other professional filmmakers and professional people in the Twin Cities, all, you know, submitting short films. And there was 80 short films in total. And Justin was nominated for Best Cinematography. And he was nominated against 4 other professional cinematographers that probably, if you added up their years of experience, it would have probably been 50 or 60 years. And when Justin's name was called out, for Best Cinematography, the audience and the crowd, it was the loudest roar you could have possibly heard, because there is nobody that deserved it more than Justin. So for our March Icon Award, I am so proud to give this award out to one Mr. Justin Brulman.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, actually, correction on what you said. You didn't answer me for like 3 or 4 days. You didn't say you were going to think about it. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess Andy just doesn't want to talk to me. But yes, no, Frostbite was definitely one of the best experiences I've ever had, and I appreciate it that you let me shoot that. So, thank you.
Thank you, because it totally kicked ass. All right, so and And yeah, he does, Nick, he does have a big forehead. Let's jump into our June Icon Award. So this student, I remember meeting this student in the lobby when they first showed up. And, it's always kind of cool for us teachers to kind of see what students have done before they enter IPR, because you kind of, every student is different. So some come in with no experience, and it's really fun to watch them, grow. And then you see other students that come in that are pretty impressive. And so you're kind of excited to see where they're going to go next, because they're already, a couple laps in. But I remember when I first saw Nick Carneth's reel and saw what he was doing, that I was instantly impressed and really excited to have him as a student, because Nick has a really good eye. He's a soft-spoken guy. He's not loud, obnoxious like moi, but he's really focused and incredibly professional. And just watching him grow, and then seeing him take on, sometimes the best learning projects are the ones that overwhelm you. And to see that Nick attacked this paranormal, video project, with so many pieces to navigate and organize, and to be able to pull it off. And I remember watching some of the footage and having conversations with Nick about the editing, and I never felt that I was talking to a student. I always felt like I was talking to a professional. And that's the way Nick carries himself. And he carried himself that way from day one, just like he's carrying himself right now with this really well-lit Zoom graduation, is just incredibly professional. And so it's going to be really exciting. I mean, it's going to be really exciting to watch all these DV kids where you guys are going in the future. But Nick, it'll be really interesting to see on your end, because, I think inherently you have a great eye, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when you produce more, because I think that's going to be fun to watch. So with that said, our June our June graduate for the Icon Award goes to Mr. Nick Carneth.
Thank you, Andy. We'll see how that paranormal pilot turns out. It's not done yet, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Well, I can't wait to see it. And then just one last thing, and then I'll shut up, because you guys all know that I don't talk very much. But here's the one thing that I'm really hopeful for. Even though we've got COVID, we've got with George Floyd and the protests, and there's a lot of upheaval going on in the world. Anytime that I hear anybody complain about your generation, right, I'm always the first to defend. And the reason I say this is because you guys don't have the hang-ups that old farts like me have, or the generations before me. There's been nothing cooler than to come into IPR on any day and see an African-American kid sitting next to an Asian-American kid, sitting next to a white kid, sitting next to a gay kid, and you're all arguing about Pokemon. And that gives me an incredible amount of hope, that a lot of these biases and a lot of this prejudice that we're seeing right now that's rearing its ugly head, usually an animal makes the loudest noises right before it dies. And that being said, I'm really excited to see what happens when, we sit in the back seat and you guys are behind the wheel, because I think that's when things are really going to change. So congratulations to the March graduates. Congratulations to the June graduates. And now let's go out there and kick some ass. So thank you.
Next up, we have Luke Harper presenting the awards for the Sound Design for Visual Media program.
Hi there. I'm here to give out a pair of Icon Awards to a pair of real bright shining stars. So, we have 2 Icon Awards. 1, Evan Socks. 2, Arthur Hay. Or 1 Arthur Hay, 2 Evan Socks. The order actually doesn't mean anything on this. So first, let's talk about Arthur. We have all worked with Arthur, Everybody at the school has worked with Arthur. One of the reasons he's getting this award is because everybody at the school, whether they're in his program or on his normal campus, everyone has worked with Arthur because Arthur is perpetually helpful. Arthur will not only give you the shirt off of his back, Arthur will also figure out how to find a sheep, shear it, and felt the wool and make you a new shirt somehow, like in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. He's like the professor. He can build anything, anytime, and he always wants to. Like, he's an always perpetually willing member of any team you put him on. And leadership? Are you kidding? The guy just asks to lead. And if nobody else is leading, he just sort of starts leading. He's not a jerk about it. That's a neat trick. Arthur is a fantastic leader. He's also exceedingly competent. Having only been at the school for about 2 years, he's already doing exceptionally high-level work because he has an absolute need to get things right constantly. Nothing is ever quite good enough. That's how you have to be, and that's how Arthur is. Arthur has an exceptional mind, is exceptionally capable, and is exceptionally willing. Those are the kinds of behaviors we really want to reward with this Icon Award, is being exceptional. And I think anybody that meets Arthur would say, yeah, he's exceptional. On the other hand, we have your good friend and mine, Evan Sachs, polite, fastidious, and absolutely willing to do whatever it takes to get the project done right, to make the client happy. Evan Sachs is like having another brain. When Evan's in the room, you can be absolutely sure that all your bases are covered. All the details are covered. All the big and small events that are supposed to happen will. He is fastidious, and it is amazing. Sometimes the creative urge and the creative arts tend to overwhelm during projects, and details can be missed, but never with Evan. Never with Evan around. Also, Evan is happy to be a part of any team and also happy to lead a team. He's very relaxed. He's not pushy. He's just a good human being. People want him in the room. It's Evan. Everybody likes Evan. So of course we're going to give Evan an Icon Award because he's exceptional. He does exceptional work. And there you have it, our 2 Icon Award winners. Very proud of you both. Thank you for attending this school. Thank you for being on my teams. Thank you for being in my classes. Thank you for being you. Exceptional.
I think we have Peter Greenland on deck to present the icon for the live sound and show production program.
This person probably shows the greatest school spirit I have seen in any student since I've been at IPR. Always in early, staying late, making sure that the venue was really clean and proper for the next group coming in. But super soft spoken, just like Opie. I'm telling you, he was just this nicest little guy coming in, and he exploded into this amazing lighting engineer. His work ethics were fantastic. We had some downed instruments, and that we figured pretty much were going to be lost cause. And he said, well, I'd kind of like to figure out how to fix these things. And so he dove in, and for like $73 per instrument, he replaced what could have cost us thousands of dollars worth of instruments. And they're still up and working today. So he was just a model student. And right prior to his graduation, he actually landed a full U.S. tour with a major sound company, lighting company here in town, Slamhammer. And then, of course, the COVID kicked in, and so he's on hold for that. But I know they're just waiting for him. The company just can't speak enough about the few dates he did with them already. So this goes to the amazing Mac Swanson.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Peter. It was a pleasure working with you for sure. And I'd love to keep working with you in the future for sure.
Absolutely. We'll talk.
Thank you, Peter.
Cheers. Well, I got to move on. Sorry, Mac, don't cut you short, but we'll talk.
It's okay.
So I've got to move 3 months ahead. And it's weird because the person has been here, seems like a really long time. Like I think Mac started and graduated, because this person won one field wasn't enough. You know, you had to learn recording, had to learn the live stuff. And this student is one that has no fear. He embraces the technology. We've had the luxury of some pretty high-end audio consoles being loaned to the school from manufacturing friends of mine. And we have a Digico console, which is state-of-the-art. And there's no training manual for these things. They're pretty intricate and they go deep. But this guy said, I want to do my big show with this. This is what I want to do. So not only did he start learning the console well into hours after class, but also working with Digico support with the U.S. rep who donated the consoles to us, working back and forth on the phone to install all the new Waves plugins, update the consoles. I mean, he fell in love with this console to the point where now he's trying to get one for his church, I believe. So yes, he's already employed. And again, just prior to the summer here, he landed a house gig as the lead engineer for the Richfield Amphitheater. So he's got stuff lined up outside waiting for him. And so for this award, I'd like to bring up Evan Rodriguez Sosa, please. There he is. No fear. And look, a digital console right behind him. There's my guy.
Thank you, Peter.
Congrats, my friend.
I can't thank you enough for all the support you've given me, and it's been awesome to work with you. It's been an honor, to be honest. So.
Wow. Well, you go out there and do good with this.
Thank you, Peter.
All right. Bye-bye, Al.
Have a good rest of your class.
Yes.
So for the Icon Award winners and the valedictorians, I will be coordinating with you sometime next week to personally deliver them to your houses and hopefully grab a picture, socially distancing, of course, to make sure that you get your award. So as we wrap up tonight's ceremony, I want to thank Diana and Kyle in the Career Services Department for all of their work in planning and organizing and preparing a really meaningful graduation ceremony for all of you. And a special thanks to our talented IPR lab staff who work literally around the clock to provide support and assistance to our students. I also want to thank the IPR staff and faculty for the countless ways that you invest in our students and mentor them throughout their time at IPR. But before we wrap up, I wanted to share some final thoughts with all of you. For each commencement, I try to really customize advice or some parting words of wisdom for the groups of students graduating. I've talked about procrastination or the importance of taking action and setting goals. And I've really been struggling with what to say to this group because so much of what is happening in the world right now is so much bigger than all of us and the more standard advice just doesn't seem appropriate during such unprecedented circumstances. Being a small school with a really close-knit community like ours, I have had the privilege of getting to know so many of you and listen to your work and viewed your projects and watched you make these incredible live shows come to life. And each of you has come to IPR with your own unique set of gifts and talents, and you are leaving here with these new skills and experiences to make you even more qualified to really leave your mark on your profession and certainly in the world as well. The beloved Stan Lee popularized the line, "With great power comes great responsibility," in his Spider-Man comics and movies. Now, although its origins date back to the French National Convention of 1793, we'll just go ahead and stick with the wisdom of Peter Parker's Uncle Ben for this analogy. I also brought some Spider-Man action figures to help keep you motivated and inspired. I know that Ryan and Kevin talked about how this is a tough time and it's a tough time to be hopeful, so we'll just let Spider-Man kind of hang out here with us. So there are a couple ways I want us to think about this. Your great power includes all of these skills and abilities that you have developed while attending college. So learning how to be a more critical thinker, a more thoughtful communicator, a more skilled creator, those are your great powers. So earning a degree comes with a certain set of obligations too. You heard the word obligation when Trey officially conferred your degrees. I want to challenge you to think about how to share your gifts. So the first way to consider this is to think about all of the time and energy and efforts and money that you have invested in your education. What a waste it would be if you did not focus all of your energy on building a career that allows you to utilize these specialized skills. You are not going to leave here with a resume quite as robust or impressive as, tonight's faculty speaker, Kevin, or the many incredible faculty that we have teaching at IPR. But you had better leave here ready to work and to be committed to using what you learned to work your way to your dream job. Those stepping stone jobs are not settling if you are truly building connections and experiences that will position you one step closer to your goals. And no, working your part-time job at Jimmy John's is not what I have in mind. The safer choice is not likely the best or the most fulfilling choice. The second approach to thinking about this involves a little more self-reflection. I challenge you to think about the ways to use your gifts, your great powers, to positively impact your communities. Maybe your IPR community, the community where you live, but I want you to think about kind of the community beyond. Are there ways that you can use your skills to draw attention to a cause or to give voice to others that need to be heard? Finding ways to serve others through your craft will provide even more meaning to your work, but likely help you continue to impact change and to build your network and really expand your future opportunities. When we can reopen our labs and studios to everyone, I want to see every single one of you utilizing your alumni access. Because your time on campus was cut short, we want to extend your access from 9 months to a full year. So when we are open, it is safe for you to do so. We want you to come in and use IPR's labs and studios free of charge and really use this time to fine-tune your portfolios and your demo reels, build your client base, and further develop your skills. We also want you to use this time to keep in contact with your instructors, with your peers. They are an incredible resource for you for learning and networking opportunities. And make sure that you also swing by and say hello and tell me what you're working on. I want to sincerely thank all of you for attending IPR and for sharing your time, your talent, and your incredible powers and gifts with all of us. Please join me in congratulating IPR's March and June 2020 graduates. Woo! You can all unmute yourselves and cheer. I think that's fair.
All right.
Woo!
Congrats, everyone.
Love you, Mason.
Congrats all you guys too. It was super fun.
I love you too, Parker. You left us with a lot of memories. Thank you.
Congrats to you all.
Love you too, Walter.
Thank you, Walter.
Congrats on you guys too as well.
Appreciate